Welcome back to Sampstra Games, the place to find new strategy games, and today I have a treat for you. We're going to be playing Field of Glory 2 Medieval. Now this game is set to come out in February 2021, so this is quite an early look and I'm really excited to show it off. We're going to be playing a campaign. You can also play the game as multiplayer, do quick battles or go through the tutorial, but we will be going through a campaign. We will be going through this Mongol invasion campaign, and I have a reason for that. And the reason is, in the Mongol invasion most units are sort of jack of all trades. They're capable of doing anything. They can both shoot arrows and they can do melee combat, and that's why I want to show you. If you're playing with some of these other campaigns, it's more like you have a unit that focus on something. You have spearmen, or you have mounted units on horses, or you have archers and things like that. But here with the Mongol vision, everyone can do sort of everything, which will allow me to show you a lot of different mechanics with these units. I'm quite excited for this. Now this is going to be a longer series, so let me know in the comments if you like that and how many episodes you would like to see. This campaign chronicles the Mongol invasions of Europe in the first half of the 13th century AD. These led to the description and absorption of the Volga-Bulgar and Kuman-Kipchak states. I'm sorry, I don't know how to read that, so it's just like my attempt. And the subjugation of the Russian principalities for more than 2 centuries. Only the death of the great Khan Ogedei in late 1241 saved Hungary and Poland from similar subjugation, and possibly the rest of Europe as well. So let's begin. So we're going to be playing on the default difficulty, which is Knight, and we'll be playing here with the static difficulty level. Progressive, what it does is that from the starting battle to the final battle, it's going to increase to by one level. So by the time you fight the final battle here, you will be playing on the Burn difficulty instead of the Knight, but we'll be doing the Knight with the static. So let's begin. 1220 AD. Pursuing the defeated Khwarezmian Shah Muhammad II across the Caucasus, a Mongol army under Jebe and Subutai has entered the territory of the Kuman-Kipchak Federation, where they are met by a Kuman army under Khan Khoten. Now we only have one choice here, and that's to offer battle, but presumably later on we'll have some other options, like maybe to flee or to try to, sneak attack or something like that. This is going to be a battle on an open field, so you won't see that much of an effect of terrain, but later on presumably we'll see those. As well, the game is quite complex. There's a lot of really cool rules that you need to learn to make it better. How do you win? To play better. Alright, so our goal in the game is to get the enemy's units to be routed. Essentially, the way this works is that this is kind of like a combat of morale. Each unit has its own morale. It starts at steady, and then if you do enough damage to it and other things, you cause something called a cohesion test, which is essentially to test whether the unit will remain with high morale. Now, the way the test is done is that they roll 2 6-sided dice, and if they can get number from 1 to 12, well, 2 to 12 essentially, and if they gain 6 or above, the morale will remain, and if it's lower, it will fall. Now there are 4 levels. There's steady, then there's dispersed, fragmented, and broken or routed. So broken and routed is what you want, and you're going to get them down. Now there are a lot of different things that will affect that, and we're going to go through these as we're going to talk about as we're going to go through the game. So first thing we do here is we kind of pick what kind of units we want to have. So we started with some basic units, and now we can pick the new units that we want to buy. Now each of these units have some point cost. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to buy 4 trebuchets because I wanted them, and I'm going to click auto deploy. So what does auto deploy do is it will automatically place your trebuchets wherever. Now one thing to keep in mind is that you want to make sure that you're not placing your trebuchet in front of a rough terrain, because it's really difficult for the trebuchet to move around. So for example, I would rather, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to place these trebuchets up front. Actually, I think the closest we can, because they should give them enough a range to actually attack the enemy units, most likely. And I'm also going to try to avoid any of these rough terrains that I can see. So this should allow us to shoot the enemy units once they come a little bit closer without moving the trebuchets. Now, like I've said in the sort of pre-talk, I guess, most of these units are sort of jack of all trades, so they can do both ranged and melee combat, but they're still specialized in certain area. For example, this is a cavalry, so it's going to be better at close range combat, so something to keep in mind. Another thing to keep in mind here is that the quality of the unit. So when you're doing these cohesion tests, the test that affects your morale, if you have a good quality, you get some reroll. So remember, you're rolling 6-sided dice, and if you have, for example, a completely untrained unit, it will they will re-roll every time they get a 6, so they'll actually get a worse result. But if you have a high level unit like this cavalry, they will re-roll if they have a very bad roll, for example, if they get 1, so that's really good. Now I'm gonna pick this armored horse races because they have high quality and they have a superior quality, which is good, and they also have their armored, so they should be pretty good at defending. So we're gonna pick, I think, all 5 of those. Finally, I think we're gonna go, we have a good cavalry here with a bow, light equipped horse archer cavalry, also pretty good. The difference between these is that the Mongol Tatar cavalry has a higher average quality. We could also go here for the light horse, who are light horse. They're unprotected as opposed to these ones, but they do still have a fairly high quality. So we're gonna pick, I think, 3 of these, and then we're going to focus on this higher level cavalry. And possibly some archers. So we have 24 points left, so we want to try to kind of avoid that and try to get like we want to get rid of some units so that we can calculate that in the best possible way. So if I remove this, I'm gonna have 66. That would be for one more normal cavalry that I can get. So let's instead try to remove 1 more Tatar cavalry and try to get 2 more of these horse archers. Now I'm going to auto-deploy this, but every time we click auto-deploy, all of these units go kind of in random places. I don't want to have a lonely unit like that. I don't think it's going to be very helpful. Also, in this front here, I want to keep my trebuchets. So I'm going to put my trebuchets kind of back where I wanted to have them originally, which was like this. You go for closer as well. And I think we'll keep... Do you want to keep these units here? I mean, we could. Also, I'm going to place some of these other units a bit closer, because if you are so far in the back, the negative effect is that it's going to take you a few turns to get closer to the enemy. And I want to be able to get into the combat fairly quickly. Right, these 2 units are kind of lonely here. We might actually put them to the side. We're going to have a bit of a long lane here, but I think it's going to be helpful than having them sort of like all sorts of lonely there. I think we'll go like this. So we're gonna actually accept this. Hit OK, we have no points left, and let's begin. Right, so we could change the deployment area here. We're pretty happy with where everybody is, so we're gonna keep it. But what I do want to do is I want to place a general. So we need to put a general in one position. So for example, we're gonna click here, and we're gonna rename the unit first of all. This is going to be General Arcus. Going to be where my and I'm going to place the general. What does the general do? So anytime a unit gets dispersed or fragmented, or just like it's not going to be steady in morale, it will stay that way for 1 turn, and then after 1 turn it has a chance of sort of, I guess, rallying, of getting their morale back up. So there's and how does that work? So in the game there's a chance that they will do the cohesion test. And then if they succeed the cohesion test, they will rally and they'll go back to steady morale. So the chance of doing this cohesion test is affected by the presence of the general. So if a unit is really close to the general, the chance of sort of doing the rallying test is higher than if it was far away from the general. It might seem complicated when I'm telling it to you like this, but it's just, I'm trying to give you like sort of behind the game information for the mechanics. It's not something you have to like if you don't know it, you can still play the game. You just won't be as good at it as if you knew. Alright, so we can see kind of like enemy forces here. They seem to have a lot more units than we do. That's okay. You can see them kind of moving around. Now our trebuchets, they do actually have a shot. Well, actually only 1 of them, but still. We could move them a step closer, and we might do it with some of them, but we're going to start off by shooting. So really good thing about artillery is that if we were to force them to do cohesion test, they would get a negative modifier at the cohesion test, because they're really scared, because they have like really big things with the heavy artillery shooting at them, so they're kind of terrified. But alright, now one thing to keep in mind with the trebuchets is they can't shoot if they moved, so we're gonna actually shoot at these guys. And we did some damage, nothing too crazy, but that's okay. Now these guys don't have a shot, so we're gonna simply move 1 step closer with all of our trebuchets. Okay. Now let's go back to normal infantry. So we've got stuff here. Now this sort of crossed out blue thing is the range to where we can attack, because with our bow we only have a range of 2. I'm going to be moving closer with these guys, just like straight up ahead. I think actually we're going to move a little bit to the side here, try to get a bit closer to them. They will most likely have a shot at us when they come closer, but I think it's alright. Now I can click one thing, which is going to go 1 step forward. one triangle, which is going to make just this unit move, or I can click 3 triangles, which makes all of the units of the same type move forward. So that's what we're doing right now. We could tell them to go 1 extra step. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2 shots. Actually, no, if we stay like this, they should not have a shot at us. So we're going to do it like that. Now this unit is going to move, I think, just kind of like forward. I don't know yet what I want to do with them. Now with some of these other ones, I'm going to be trying to move in front of my trebuchets if I can. Now one thing to keep in mind is that if you're in rough terrain, there's a chance that like the mounted units will become disrupted. I don't know about stream. Rough terrain not open, disorders mounted, so that's not great. So ideally we would want to let them get to it or just kind of stand like before that. So we're going to move with the general first, because if you were to move with the other units, it wouldn't be as easy to pass through them. So we kind of got to keep moving normally. Now these guys can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. So this is where they can shoot. So if we go at this level, we should be all right. Alright, we're gonna end our turn and let them come to us. We'll talk more about like the odds of shooting once we actually start shooting a bit more. They're not doing anything? It seems like they're not doing anything. They're not actually moving towards us, so we have to move towards them, which is a little bit irritating, especially since we're the one who has to cross the river. But, I mean, we'll do it. It's like, I actually tried my test game to wait them out and they didn't really do anything, so you kind of have to move. We could potentially move here though. If they try to move closer, we should be able to make them kind of step on the river. With everybody else here, we'll just move kind of ahead. Get ready to attack. This unit should move... I don't actually know where. We're going to keep shooting at these guys because we can. Okay. So we're actually just kind of shooting. Now, we could do a regular shot. We could also try to kind of turn more to do a harsh... Oh, this is actually really good damage. So here you can kind of see the damage that we're doing. These guys, this thing can shoot anything, and these guys could shoot one of these. Now, if you look at here, you can see the potential casualties. I have detailed tooltips. You can also have like normal tooltips that show you half of the info. This is only half arc of our fire. It's heavy artillery at a long range and does 0 to 56 casualties. Or we could do this, which does 0 to 128 casualties. So let's do that one. So, okay, so this held firm, what does that mean? We did a lot of damage to them. That caused a cohesion test and they succeeded at it, so they held firm. So they did not get hurt at all. One thing to keep in mind is that with the cohesion test, if we were to do another shot with a different artillery, they will remember what they rolled, so they do not re-roll every time. So if you're doing like artillery attacks and they held firm once, they will remain sort of holding firm essentially. Unless something changes, unless you do like high enough damage that their modifier changes or something like that, otherwise the rolls will remain the same. If we were to attack them in melee, that would be a new roll. But if you're doing like ranged has one roll and melee has another roll. We're gonna move up ahead. I don't think there's a point in making them wait. We're gonna go like, oh, I didn't mean to move these other 2 units, but I guess there's nothing else we can do about it. Do we want to stand on water? They should not have a shot at us even if we do stand on water, so I'm gonna do it. Now my general did move around, which was a bit, okay, one more thing, okay, let me just go back. We have to move the general first. I keep forgetting that because otherwise he doesn't tend to move. We're gonna let the rest of them move forwards. We will be standing on water, which is not ideal, but they should not have a shot at us regardless. This though, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. I don't want to stand on water. Well, it's only... Okay, let's grab this unit, make it stand here, and this unit will stand there. And then everybody else should just move forward. So we have no one standing on this rough terrain with the water, because that would not be good for us. This unit is a bit lonely here. This was not the best movement. We're gonna have to try to move elsewhere, I think. Yeah. To be fair, they are standing at a bad position. So that's good for us, but unfortunately we're getting attacked from multiple directions. Yeah, they did a lot of damage to us, so we managed to hold firm. And you can see that we kept the held firm because it was like just like multiple archers from the same thing. We have to start the combat at some point. Yeah, this is to keep in mind. We're gonna have to move away with these guys, probably run away or just try to fall back. Or we're gonna have to help with some of our other units here because this is not a good situation. All sorts of lonely there. Alright, let's start. Alright, so once we click on a unit, you can see a couple options. These are units that we can shoot at or straight up attack, because remember, we are kind of multi-skilled. So if we were to right click, we can see our options. So first of all, we can see our option for shot or for regular attack. So this is, again, detailed tooltips. Normally we just see the impact and the prediction and the melee and the prediction. So, impact. Because we are not locked with them, we're not in melee combat, we get the effect of impact. So we have 40% chance to win. That means that we do significantly higher damage than they do to us, 72% chance of draw, and 14% of losing. So that's not the great odds for us. Later, if we lock the combat, we're going to get like the melee prediction, but that's not what we have right now. So we're actually, another thing to keep in mind is if you lock in melee combat, so if you go at them and we're going to kind of lock in, no one will be able to shoot at them. So that's something to keep in mind. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to move here, but I'm not going to attack these guys. I'm instead going to attack these light javelin men, so I can do some nice damage to them. So these guys could potentially attack them. Oh, I can't turn to attack them? I don't have enough of a turn. So this is something to keep in mind, unfortunately, as well. So we're going to fall back. We can only fall back one turn, though. One step. That's right, we'll do it anyways. And then we'll turn to do a shot at them. It wasn't enough damage, but that's okay. Now with these guys, we could... Okay, so with these guys, we actually have a really good chance. Because this is different. This fires horse archers, but this is a best equipped cavalry. We have a 83% chance of winning up on impact. So we're going to try to do that. Now, because this is a mounted unit with a light horse, they have chance of evading every time someone attacks them. And if they evade, they will run away and this unit will follow them. If you catch up a unit that's evading, you will do a rear attack from behind, because flanking and rear attacks are a thing in this game. So it can be really, really good. Another really good thing about evading is what can happen is that a unit will, if there is a different unit in the way, you can change your direction and start attacking a different unit. I'm going to start with the guys in the back and move forward, because this will allow me to do some better attacks. Oh, out of shooting range, everybody? Seriously? Well, let's move here then and do a shot at these guys. I want to make sure that their sort of HP is lower so I can do some nice damage. Now here, I could then attack and I have 33% chance of winning. Let's try. They're evading again. This is actually not bad because these units are then close to each other and I can actually do some good stuff here. Which is good for me. Now I can't attack any of these, so I think I'm just going to try to move in a sort of formation to sort of protect myself from getting things like, you know, flanked and things like that. Now this yellow thing means that we're going to be moving into a zone of control of some other unit. Now we are going to just move ahead here, I think. You can see the javelin fallen over here, by the way, from the attacks, which I think is quite cool. Yeah. Alright. Now here we're going to move ahead again. Now with my trebuchets, I can't shoot at anything. Can I move forward? I cannot. But I can shoot with some of these other ones. So let's start shooting at these guys that are kind of the closest. The archers, oh, that did like almost no damage. That's a bit unfortunate. And then we'll go here, shoot at these armored archers. 60 damage, but not enough to do anything special. Alright, let's move forward with the majority of our units. And these guys as well. And then we'll follow up kind of like behind. Now over here, yeah, we should have a chance to actually shoot at them. So if we're standing here, we will have a shot. So I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna shoot at the guys that are closest to me, because ideally I would like to cause them to have that cohesion test to get them to be disordered. Because if we can get them to be disordered, oh, disrupted, sorry, not disordered, disrupted, they will do a lot less damage. And you can also see that their banner will become yellow because they yeah, they're hurt. Now, normally what I thought when I first played the game was that now would be a good idea to keep shooting at them, right? To get them to go fragmented. Well, actually that's not the case, because we got them to be disrupted with ranged attack, and you can get them to drop 2 levels. You could get them to drop the 2nd level if you were to do a melee attack now, but not with range. So actually, I could shoot at them to get them to sort of have less health, but I can't get them to fall to multiple levels. There's some exceptions, like if you do flank attacks or with the melee, but I'm actually going to shoot at these light javelin men instead, because I know that that's actually something I can do damage to. And I can get them to potentially be disrupted as well, but not with the original guys. Now with the rest of these, just going to move ahead to try to help ourselves out. Now you can also click here on this right, and you can click on next unmoved, and this is going to show you a unit that you haven't moved with yet. So let me actually move with some of these units that are in the back first. Yeah, so these 4 units here, maybe this one as well, no. These 4, they're still unmoved, so we've got things to think about. We could either try to push in this direction to help out over here, or we can try to push forward and start shooting at these guys. But then, I mean, we could push forward actually. You actually just move this way because I want to help out these units over there, so we're going to help like that. But as for the rest of you, like if I were to move here, I could do an attack. But these are archers. They have twice the strength of our people. So I'm not sure if actually straight up attacking them is the best decision. I think we might actually just try to hold our ground. Let them come to us. Just go like this. Yeah, we definitely want them to turn in this direction because we don't want to be like facing away from them. That would be dangerous. So we're just gonna turn facing forward. Can any of these units also, yeah, some of these units can also like turn forward. So we're gonna do that so that they don't get any kind of like a bonus attack on us. Okay, this trebuchet cannot move forward. This one can move forward, so let's do it. And next turn we'll have a shot. Unfortunately not this turn. Now, do we have any other unmoved unit? Yes. You know I'm okay with you, and you can't move. Okay, any other unmoved? Alright, so we still have some unmoved units here. So let's just try to step a bit forward. This is a cavalry, so they're a bit stronger than maybe some of the other ones. Any unshot, unmoved? Okay, we're done. So we're gonna end our turn. Let them go. They're moving closer. And you can see they're gonna start shooting at our people there as well. Ooh, this might get a flanked attack. We'll see. Okay, so we're disrupted now, so we're actually gonna do less damage. Now they did, is that a melee attack? I think they might have been, I'm not sure if that was a melee or an archer, but if it was a melee, then we had a chance of getting going through another cohesion test, but it doesn't seem like we did. So the way they're standing seems to me be giving me opportunities to some flank attacks from this side. If you could kind of lock them in melee combat and then flank them, it could be quite useful. Alright, they've got another unit that's already disrupted. So we see how well we can do that. Now one thing to keep in mind is if you lock in melee combat, you can't shoot into there anyway, because the idea is that you could shoot into your own units. So you want to make sure that you shoot with your arrows first, and then you charge with your cavalry, thing like that, not the other way around, because then you can't shoot and then your unit can be kind of pointless. And that's something to keep in mind. Now these 2 units, if they were to attack, they would do a lot less damage than normally. Just keep that in mind. They're shooting at us here, but they're doing fairly low damage, which is good. They're also standing in a bad terrain, so this is quite useful for us. Still, they managed to make us disrupted because there have been a lot of attacks on that particular unit, which is understandable. But they aren't doing much damage. I'm pretty happy with this. So they went in melee, their damage was super low, but now because we're close with them, we could do some high attacks with our cavalry and should hopefully be able to get them to possibly fragment it, which is very, very good. So let's actually check this. If you were to just do melee attack, our chances of winning are 44%. If I were to try this with my disrupted, it's actually still 47%, so this might be a time to actually be a good idea to go even with the disrupted unit, because it will kind of like follow up in good attacks, and then you can have the stronger units to other things. But another thing to keep in mind is what we're going to do with these units here. So some of them could go and attack this enemy there. Actually, only this one can attack straight up. These others will just have like ranged attacks. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm actually gonna move here with the unit. Oh, but one thing to keep in mind though is that the archers, they can shoot through a friendly unit, so we would have to kind of have a place here to kind of, we would have to step here and then we could shoot through, but otherwise we can't. So it's something to keep in mind. 63% chance of winning. Okay, let's start with this. We'll just do the charge. We got them to evade, but we catched up to them, so we got a rear attack. We got them to be fragmented from the close combat thing, but because if it's a rear attack, there was a second cohesion test, because rear attacks gives you extra cohesion text, which got them to go straight up from fragmented to broken. So this is how we broke the first unit, okay? Now, if I move then here, I should be able to have a shot at this unit, which gives me a chance to possibly get them. Well, actually, they're not going to be dispersed yet. Now, if I move with this unit, ooh, I'm actually not sure if this is going to give me a shot. It does give me a shot because there's a place here, so it's almost like a checkered thing. Now, we could try to shoot at them one more time, or we could just try to go at them. We can go over here. If I were to attack with you, my chance of winning is actually 0. Because this is, so that's actually not great. So we definitely want to keep shooting at them. Unless, could be 65% chance of winning with these guys. So let's try. Now we did actually manage to catch up, which is a little bit unfortunate because otherwise we could get them to be disrupted or something. The chances here are 19%, so I think instead we're going to shoot at these guys right next to me and try to get them to be disrupted. They held firm, so now we know that with the sort of archery we're not going to be able to get them down. Now we could potentially get them down with artillery, because artillery gets you that extra modifier. But I don't know if that's going to be enough. So let's try to shoot at somebody else. 48 damage. Now you could also shoot at them, so let's do it. Get them to be disrupted. Ah, I did 0 damage. That's unfortunate. Okay. Well, that wasn't as helpful as I was hoping. Right, regardless. Our odds here of straight up attack are terrible. But not from this side. So we could just straight up go and have 66% chance, or what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to try to shoot first with my arrows and try to kind of weaken up the unit for that melee combat. So you move. I think I'm going to move this way to kind of try to protect myself from any kind of like a flank attack or something like this. They held firm, but they held firm for archery. And now we're going to do a regular attack and we still get a chance of winning. Now they evaded, but we had a really good odds, so we, instead of continuing at them, we attacked this other unit instead. Now it didn't go as well as we were hoping, but could have. Now, which was the unit that we just hurt significantly? This one. We're going to try to do an artillery attack, see if that could get them to be disrupted. We want to really kind of focus on, yes, so they're going to do a lot less damage to us. If we were able to get there with this unit, I would probably try to do another sort of melee attack to kind of, because they evaded, so we weren't actually able to do much damage. Now, question is where we want to move with this bunch. We could try to focus here to kind of help out so that they don't surround this unit, and I think we're going to do it. Let's shoot at some of these. Make them a little bit weaker. This is... I would have to move there. I guess I'll do it. Now, shooting at the disrupted guys is not helpful because we can do melee there, so we're just going to shoot at somebody else like them. Can I turn? I'm actually going to turn facing that way. You could only move to here, which is quite dangerous. But if I were to move there, actually, yeah, let's do it. I can shoot at these guys over here. Then I'm going to grab the second unit, move here first, because then I have still kind of like the point of view, so I can do another shot. No disruption yet, but I could keep shooting with my artillery as well. Disrupted, and now, oh, I can do melee? Come on, I should be able to do melee. I can do melee. Oh, that's unfortunate. I thought I could do melee there, but I can't get to them. Oh well, never mind. I could go here with 82% chance of attacking. Well, we caught up, but we didn't do much damage, unfortunately. Now, this last trebuchet could hit those guys, but they're already disrupted, so I'm going to hit these other ones instead. They held firm. If I were to attack, I would only get 18% chance of winning. So instead, we're going to try to Or 23 with this unit actually. So let's, why can't we shoot? They're out of shooting range. So let's get closer. And we'll try. So we would be shooting from this position, so we can't kind of step in the way of that. So we'll stand here and we'll do a shot. They keep on holding firm, we know that, but we want to get to better chance to actually hit them up. They're waiting. We did not follow, fortunately. What about here? Do we have any cavalry that could go straight up attack? Cavalry could attack here. 55% chance we're going to go straight up. Instead we hit the other guys, but we still didn't manage to finish it, unfortunately. What about here? 26% chance, that's not as good, but it's something. 75% chance, that's actually really good. But before we do that, let me again just kind of butter them up. We're attacking from this position, so if we were to stand here, we can't shoot at them. Okay, so we'll shoot at these guys instead. There's a bit of a mistake in calculation there. I'm trying to go at you, so I'm going to stand here and shoot at these guys. 52, that's not enough. Now we could scrap some of the other units. I'm gonna be attacking like this. Stand there. Is that gonna give me a shot at them? I think it is, yeah. Still not enough. I could stay there. I'm gonna move forward, but not attack yet. And then with this unit I can move forward as well and do another shot. Held firm. Okay, so this, we didn't manage this with the thing, but we could still do a nice melee attack. They evaded, another unit evaded, and then we attacked the third unit which also evaded, but now we're kind of in the middle of open space, which is not ideal, typically. But you do what you gotta do. 43% chance of winning, but our unit is disrupted. Still, that seems pretty good. Alternatively, we could instead just choose to like shoot, to do some like damage with arrows. And we have 29% chance of winning here. They evaded. Unfortunate. What about here? 15% chance. That's quite low. So let's start by shooting. Try to get them down a little bit. How are you moving like this? Okay, so you can move here. Shoot at them without any trouble. Yes, disrupted. Now we're gonna do the melee. And they ran away. 24% chance is still pretty good. Evading. Very low damage we managed to do. 13% chance. Yeah, let's just do a regular shot here. And you guys. I kind of want to run away with this unit because I'm worried about having this big of a bunch. So we're actually going to move. We're going to try to move here. Can I turn? Not turn. So actually going to go back. Sorry about that. And we're going to kind of hide behind because they're disrupted. And I'm really worried about just going straight up and attacking. Because I think that could be problematic. Now these trebuchets, do we have anybody who hasn't moved or hasn't shot? No, we're kind of down here. Well, actually I think this is a good time to end the episode. I hope you enjoyed it and you can click on the right to watch the next one. I'll see you there. Bye bye!